Welcome to Film Ranker. This time we are taking a look at Child's Play, including the recent remake. The Don Mancini series now has 8 films as well as an upcoming TV show. Maybe it's a little bit less successful than Jason, Freddy, or Michael, but Chucky is still a household name with a cult following and a series that has more than a few surprising turns and some legitimately cool films. So let's count them down from worst to best. Seed of Chucky. The 5th Child's Play movie leans the hardest on the comedy elements, and sometimes it works, like John Waters' cool cameo as a creepy paparazzi photographer, or Redman being Jennifer Tilly's director, but there are more misses than hits, with the biggest miss being the seed of Chucky, him or herself. Glenn or Glenda, played by Billy Boyd of Lord of the Rings fame, has a weird wholesomeness that is meant to contrast Chucky and Tiffany, but it just ends up taking away from the fun dynamic. By and large, the family gags feel like a chore, and the fun subplots get dragged down by the flat jokes at the center. Child's Play 3. Released just 9 months after Child's Play 2, everything about this movie feels rushed. Set in a military academy, the movie starts with a likable 80s-style nerds versus preppies thing, but then Chucky gets added and spends most of his time as a subplot trying to play hide the soul in a way that is the bad kind of creepy. While most of the movie feels disjointed, the last act that goes from military academy to carnival really takes the cake. It just comes out of nowhere. Child's Play, the 2019 remake. The newest Child's Play, and the only one not written by series creator Don Mancini, falls somewhere in the middle of the pack of the run of recent slasher classic remakes. It's slicker with a modern Chucky who's part iPhone and part Alexa. Aubrey Plaza is great. Mark Hamill is a pretty solid replacement for Brad Dourif, but the whole thing feels a bit too safe, with none of the classic Mancini dark humor, and a plot that feels too focus grouped for its own good. This is a little bit like if Disney made a Child's Play movie. Child's Play. The original has a creepy premise, but a surprisingly low death count. To its credit, the film does a lot with relatively no effects. The doll is basically just a doll that comes to life through clever editing. The highlight of the movie is the mother-son story that's at the heart, as well as the likable and sadly short-lived best friend. While the films would get better as the world was fleshed out, the original does a great job of setting up the threads, and Brad Dourif goes way over and above bringing the doll to life. Cult of Chucky. While the production takes a bit of a hit here with a shoestring, straight-to-video budget, the story takes some fun and interesting turns. It's great seeing the return of Alex Vincent as the grown-up and messed-up Andy, and even better seeing him team up with the fantastic Fiona Dourif, who returns as Nika. The asylum setting works well, providing a different feel from the rest of the series and introducing a nice mix of new characters, both cool and creepy. The film also sets up some interesting threads for the future with the introduction of multiple Chuckies and an expanded cast with Andy, Nika, Tiffany, and the post-credit return of Andy's foster sister, Kyle. Child's Play 2. Chucky really comes alive in the second installment, as the series gets a big bump in special effects, which actually hold up pretty well for the 80s. The death count is up, and there are some creative kills, like the photocopier and the sewing machine. We get the first hints of the evil corporation that makes the dolls, which is pretty cool, and Beverly Hills 90210's Christine Elise is great as the foster sister. This one also has a nice finale with the good guy factory fight, though it probably has one too many Rise from the Deads. While the original is a classic for a reason, the second movie really feels like it's the start of a series. Bride of Chucky. This was a major turn for the franchise. The tone goes all the way to dark comedy, and Chucky really starts to take center stage as a kinda sorta anti-hero. Andy is gone, celebs have hopped on board, and things are looking slicker than ever. Jennifer Tilly is a fantastic addition to the cast, which takes a big jump in name recognition, also including John Ritter and Katherine Hagel before she was terrible. The Chucky-Tiffany relationship at the center is a ton of fun, as is the storyline of the young couple that they frame. It's the funniest entry in the series, with a great kooky 90s feel. Curse of Chucky. The sixth installment in the series is another major turn in style as things move back to classic horror in a claustrophobic slasher that all takes place in a very creepy house. Chucky steps halfway back into the shadows here as we focus instead on paraplegic Nika Pierce, played excellently by Brad Dourif's real-life daughter Fiona. The story focuses on a dysfunctional family and actually has some surprisingly good storytelling. This was the first of 2 straight-to-video films, which for some series is a death sentence, but Mancini takes the opportunity to exercise his creative freedom and puts together a movie that has a bit more depth than its predecessors, as well as some of the best kills in the series. This one comes as maybe a little bit of a dark horse, but this really is the high watermark for the Child's Play series so far. And that wraps up another episode. Thanks for watching, and maybe check out the other videos that include horror franchises, superheroes, top 10s, directors, and one video about baseball movies that you could be the first person to watch all the way through. Also, go ahead and like and subscribe or write something in the comments. And hopefully, I will see you all next time.